Cuffs are off, man. Get right. Too many left in these leagues, but I ain't gonna...
Hey everybody, Adam Rank here.
What's up everybody? It's Marcus Grant from NFL Network.
This is AJ Dillon of the Green Bay Packers.
I got to give a shout out to y'all at Get Right Fantasy.
If you are not subscribed, what are you waiting for? You want to lose your league?
Check out the Get Right Fantasy Network.
You got to get right with the Get Right Fantasy Network.
Best of luck with your podcast. Appreciate the support.
And you're tuned in to watch my boys at Get Right Fantasy Network. Get you right. Enjoy the show.
Marking often, but I tune in every Friday. Strategies provided, I will lock in every way. So go and roll your sleeves up, yeah, go and roll your sleeves up. And I'm getting down, cause I roll my sleeves up. And I'm getting right, cause I roll my sleeves.
What up? What up? What up, world? We are back. I'm Anthony, aka Rasta. This is Get Right Fantasy Network. Week 1 in the books. That's it. Already gone. Just like that. We've been waiting so long, man. I'm here with my boy Frank. We're here to overreact, go through waiver wires. How you doing, Frank? How was week 1?
Exciting.
How'd you do?
Wow.
All right.
I mean, even just last night's game was great. I did not fare well, though, in my fantasy teams due to major injuries with some of these guys. I mean, first-round picks going down and so on and so forth. But no excuses. You got to put in the best team you can forward. And even when your own team kills you, let's go Cowboys, crushing the Giants, but crushing my fantasy hopes at the same time.
Yes.
Getting 30-something points on a defense is a rough day. You know what I mean? It's a tough hill to climb when that's all you had to do was just withstand a defense. You know what I mean? Like, come on. Anyway,
especially on Sunday night when you thought you might have had it in the bag, or as long as they don't go too crazy.
Yeah,
like, well, I could do one touchdown, maybe.
Over crazy. It was like a little bit
interception.
I could have went
fumble.
Yeah, but it was just like a feast, and I was like, it's over. I knew it was over. I was like, these guys are just gonna start eating, and there was no stopping after that. I was like, oh, it was all bad.
Very reminiscent of the Niner game. Very, very similar. I wish they didn't have that one drive even. You guys even snuffed out and got lucky with the missed field goal to just keep the night going. Obviously, my Niners did very well, 30-7. Kind of just routed Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh. So it was real nice, man. Our defenses showed up to play. Offenses all around, I think, were a little rusty. Obviously, you know, a lot of guys didn't even play preseason.
Honestly, offensively wise, there was not much that be had done. You know what I mean? Like
Pollard did pretty nice.
Like, well, I mean, I'm just saying, I don't think they were even on the field that much. Like, honestly. Anyways, but yeah, it was good. It was good. So yeah, man. So we're gonna get into it, man. Like I said, tonight's the overreaction show. That's what we're doing here on Monday nights. We'll get into our waiver wire targets. Of course, we'll talk injuries, and you know, usually that's what dictates the waiver wire, as well as usage and performance and things like that. So of course, we're always adapting on the fly. Wednesday nights we'll be back here, you and I, for roster management. So we'll get into the buy sell trade target show. So that one's always a lot of fun. Always taking your Q&As in the chat. Fridays we'll be back for our game by game previews. Classic Mike and I. We'll go through game by game, tell you who we're starting, who we're sitting. Again, big thanks to the Fantasy Tycoon who hung out with me last Friday, man, for almost 3 hours, going through all those games, answering all the questions in the chat, man. It was a lot of fun hanging out, getting excited for our first week of football. So again, appreciate you, Tycoon, for doing that. And then Classic recovered from his hammy well enough to get on Sunday morning, do his active inactive show, basically getting your last minute start sit advice in there. He dabbles in a little DFS as well, but that's definitely not our forte. It's more for fun. We'll throw a lineup in there if you're in the chat. We'll kind of pick a team together, and then of course we'll bring you right up until kickoff before he has to sign off and start getting his lineups right for the Sunday kickoff. Yeah, all that advice.
Yeah, got to get in there and put that all to use. Yeah. Because he's there live as the actives and inactive lists are coming out and injury updates. So it's a lot of fun there, man, on Sunday morning. Not going to lie, I slept in. I woke up at like 9:30 in a panic. I was like, oh no, I got to set like 16 lineups. So yeah, so that was a little panicky, but I got through it with plenty of time to spare, about 5 minutes to spare. So yeah, man. So before we get into the whole overreaction to the games, I got to tell you guys, of course, about UnderdogFantasy.com. It's a best ball platform. They also have a variety of different in-season contests, from their weekly drafts and game day picks. You can do just, certain slates. So it's a lot of fun, man. Go check out the link again, UnderdogFantasy.com. When you sign up and make your first deposit, use that promo code GetRight, because when you do, you'll receive that 100% deposit match when you make that first deposit of $10 to $100. So basically just doubling up your money. When you do now, and when you use that promo code, you also get a mystery pick'em special in addition to any site-wide pick'em special that they have going on as well right now. I believe this tonight was the Josh Allen over under 1.5 throwing yard. So it's basically like a free pick to get you started. So again, use that promo code GetRight, and when you sign up, and let's have some fun. All right. So we'll get through that. Appreciate that, Frank. Way to handle that. You're on it. All right, so let's get into this, man. Let's overreact.
Yeah.
You weren't here. You weren't here for the Lions Chiefs. Obviously, Lions get the upset. Started us off Thursday night, 21-20. So we won't get too much into it, but just an update from some of the players here in this game. Chris Jones did sign his 1-year deal. His holdout officially ended after that loss. They both sides reached an agreement on a 1-year deal, and he will be back here week 2. Also, a little update here on Travis Kelce for those of us Kelce owners out there. The report that came out said that the Chiefs were initially concerned that Kelce had suffered a season-ending tibia plateau fracture during Tuesday's practice. However, it turned out to be just a very deep bone bruise, and Kelce's been making progress every day. The plan is to start having him start to run. As long as there's no swelling, he should be back week 2 against the Jaguars. So a little scary update there, but a little promising as well. A whole bunch of emotion that kind of went on as I was reading that off. But what do you think? What are you thinking about that as a Kelce owner yourself?
That's very good news. I mean, by the looks of it, the team needs him back.
Ooh, I can't hear you. I think we lost you.
Can you hear me now? Testing.
Maybe It was on my side. All right, I think you're good.
Okay, yeah.
Might have been me.
I was just like, it was a movement. I mean, I'm very happy he's not injured. Obviously, I have him as an owner, starter. And, I mean, the team needs him. You could tell that Patrick was throwing everywhere and that nobody was really helping him out. I mean, obviously, we were, it was noted and highlighted that I can't even think of his freaking name.
Who?
The ex-Giants player. Now I can't think of his name now.
Tony?
They kept dropping Tony. Yeah, Kadarius Tony just dropping all the passes left and right. Terrible game. Hopefully he gets the ship straightened out. But I mean, you could tell that Mahomes needs Kelce and Kelce needs Mahomes right now.
Absolutely. And at least, week 2 again against the Jags should be a nice shootout. So I can't wait for that game. So only guy really to me worth grabbing off the waiver wire in this game might be Josh Reynolds, if you want to give him a little look. He had a nice showing. He's only 4% owned on Sleeper, 1% on Yahoo. Looks to be like the second wide receiver there, obviously behind Amon-Ra St. Brown. Just might be worth a flyer in deeper leagues just to hold him. Or if you're experiencing some of the injuries or need some depth, he might be a piece you can at least hold until Jameson Williams starts to come back, and then we'll see what happens there. Did you have anybody else in that game?
No, that's the only guy I had. Josh Reynolds. I think I even texted you that guy, didn't I?
You might have. I think so. I got a lot of texts from a lot of people, but that was good. So we'll move on. Panthers 10, Falcons 24. This was an interesting game all around. The whole Algier Bijan, split there was kind of interesting. So that'll kind of bring me to my first waiver wire guy. Algier only 57% owned on Sleeper, 56% on Yahoo. He played 6% of the snaps as well. Gets 15 carries, 75 yards, 2 touchdowns. Also adds 3 catches on 3 targets for 19 receiving yards. Was heavily involved in this game plan. I think he actually even started the game before Bijan got in and got some work. They obviously won. Not everyone's going to be the Panthers defense, but I definitely think he's, if he's out there on your waiver wire in about half of these leagues, he definitely shouldn't be after this week.
Yeah, he's not one of my guys though. I think he's too widely owned. Surprised you actually brought him up.
Well,
but,
yeah, so I forgot to go back. Yeah, no, I meant to say as far as our overreaction, the whole idea is the waiver. We're going to kind of concentrate on guys that are either like 65% rostered or less on Sleeper or Yahoo. So that's kind of like our target percentage to make sure we capture those like 10-player leagues. Because there could be guys there that are still relevant that you should just we shouldn't just take for granted that they're out there. Because again, we want to go a little over half if this is a guy who should be close to 80-90%. Oh.
Yeah, I get you. Yeah, and it should be. Next week it will be 80-90 and it won't even matter, right?
Exactly, right? So there you go. Anybody else from this game that you had eyes on as far as Panthers or Falcons on your waiver list?
I did have Hayden Hurst as the tight end there.
There you go.
Let me go to my tight end sections here. Hayden Hurst at Yahoo 11%, ESPN 5%, Sleeper 22% owned. Went 7 for 41 and a TD. That's what you want. And if obviously you need the help in tight end, if you had somebody else go down, such as myself, that's who I should have started. Even like other tight ends that didn't start, and Mark Andrews and whatnot. It's just hard. Now you have options because Isaiah likely put up 1 for 1, and it just didn't look good at all. I mean, with 1 target, what are you going to do? Right. So he's not replacing Mark Andrews there, but you need the points. So you need to get somebody like Hayden Hurst on your team.
Absolutely. I definitely had him down. He's technically the tight end 2 in fantasy right now with no Kelsey, no Andrews. Right. He is the tight end 2, I think, behind Hawkinson, who's the tight end 1, if I'm not mistaken. Right. So one other guy I had in this game was Chuba Hubbard. Interesting, obviously, all the talk out of camp and from the coaching staff reuniting with Sanders was, he's going to be a 3-down back. He wasn't. Chuba was basically on most of the passing plays. He's only 21% owned on Sleeper, 15% owned on Yahoo. Not someone I was targeting in drafts. I did see him, get drafted quite a few times though in our mocks. He did get a 36%. Yeah, he did get a 36% snap share. But he ends with 9 carries, 60 yards, 2 catches for only 9 on 2 targets for only 9 yards. But was definitely involved. So, especially with, Sanders' injury, obviously was kind of dealing with that groin, didn't play in the preseason because of it, didn't get as many reps in practice. That could be it. But again, if that were to flare up at all again, looks like Chuba's going to get that workload. And we'll see what, he could do with it as we go along. So, anyone else you got?
No, that's not that game.
All right, we shall move on. We got Texans 9 and Ravens 25. Big news from this game. J.K. Dobbins out for the season with the torn Achilles, man. So sad to see. I was watching it as it happened. This Ravens game, Ravens-Texans, was one of the games I actually had. I was watching the whole thing as I was watching Red Zone on another screen, but this had one screen completely dedicated to it. Watching this game, I wanted to see Bateman, which, he performed. But did see Zay Flowers kind of go off in this one, which was really, really awesome to see. But again, the big news: J.K. Dobbins out for the season with the Achilles. So I'm sure one, if not all, these potential running backs are on your list. So who you got here that you want to mention?
Obviously, it's just gonna. I don't know. We're gonna talk about Justice Hill, Gus Edwards, and Melvin Gordon. Melvin Gordon just been pulled up from the practice squad, right? But I mean, are you really going to trust anybody here without, Edwards, Dobbins there? I mean, I think that Hill might be the one, but I mean, the numbers didn't help anybody. Hill got 8 for 9 touches, and then 8 for 9 yards, and Gus went 8 touches for 32 yards. So he got a little bit more yards, but they split the touches equally, 8 for 8. So, I don't got a guy on this. I don't got a horse in this race. I'd rather move on from these guys.
Yeah, so it's going to be Gordon, Edwards, or Hill. Looks like Edwards is pretty much the guy that looks like to replace him on, potential early down work, but he's not really used in the passing game, so maybe there's an opportunity there for Hill. But obviously they sound like they want to use Gordon. So we'll see. Maybe it's just Edwards and Gordon kind of splitting, playing the hot hand, and maybe they just kind of work in all three. We saw what kind of happened with Dobbins and Gus went down with their respective ACLs. It was just kind of like a Mod Podge at running back, there. So it'll be tough to see, man. But none of you guys, you'll pretty much have an opportunity on these guys. If you want to take a stab at one of them, I probably wouldn't want to use more than like 10% of my fab on this. I don't think he's worth like a number one waiver wire pick. Yeah, I'd say I'm even probably closer to that like 5 or 10% or maybe like $1 bid. But I mean, one of them will pop, I guess, but I'm not dedicating a lot. Like to me, none of them are like league winners, in my opinion.
See, to me as a Dobbins owner in one of the teams, I need to replace those yardage by something that is more feasible than that. Hopefully one of my backups that's already on my team will do that.
Right.
But now I still need to have another backup because what if one of the other guys goes down or the next guy goes down, right? So you need to have that depth. So this is not one of the guys I want to rather hold on to. Try to get one of the other waiver wire options that we have this week over any of these guys.
Nice. All right. Good take.
You know what I mean? Anybody else? And this is the last set of guys you have to take. If you have to, you have to, right? I think.
I kind of agree with that.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with anybody else but these guys right now.
Hopefully, it just turns into like a Lamar Bateman Flowers show and a little OBJ here and there. Andrews, I'll be happy with that. Yeah, and some Andrews. Yeah, once he's healthy. So there you go. So we'll get to the chat, man. Sorry about the chat, man. That's why we're here, guys. Drop your questions in the chat if you got anything, questions, comments. Let us know how you did.
Medicine Fish did have a good comment right off the bat, but he's trying to get the first like he's in here. But here's this comment.
Yeah, like and subscribe. Let's go.
Yeah. How about the QBs everyone paid up for? And he does have a good point. I know what he's trying to say is, look at
Allen. Hurts, Allen, Mahomes. I mean, Mahomes still got you at least like 21, Jackson, 23, 24.
Jackson also. Jackson. Trouble day, but look at Tua. Way down.
Yeah, Tua
there.
went off. Hey, look at Anthony Richardson. Thrown for like 275. We'll get into that. We'll get into that. We'll get into it. We got it. What's up, guys? All right. So who else we got in here? We got Brooks in the house saying, "What up, lads? How much fab would I drop on Puka? Thinking 22%. I think you're about right. Maybe a little." Maybe a little more, but we'll see, man. So we're gonna talk about that game here soon. So we'll get into it and let you know our thoughts.
Yeah, we got Albert, another guy right there.
I was gonna say we'll get into it. We'll get there. We'll get there. It's a little teaser. We got Albert in the house saying, "What's up, everyone? How's it going?" We got the Ali Boss God in here saying, "Thoughts on Najee? Quick take on Najee. He ran into that D this weekend, so he might be all right. You guys just ran into a buzzsaw, man." Or I don't know if he's a used guys, but Najee ran into a buzzsaw named Fred Warner, met him in the hole, was on every replay show this morning. So yeah, I'm sure you guys caught it. Go Niners. Let's go. All right. Both of our team and go Cowboys, man. We might be on a collision course this year.
Oh, we're playing this year.
Yeah. So. We'll see, man. You guys.
The terrible part is I tried to get tickets early and I should have bought it the day that the schedule came out.
Now you have no chance.
Oh, it's so expensive now. Ridiculous.
You have no chance. There we go. We got right. We got Cadillac in the house saying, "Wow, nothing I expected comeback from on Monday Night Football. That was awesome, man. Crazy game. Aaron Rodgers. Big news on that. Obviously, we'll get into that here too. We might skip to that. He says, I want to formally thank Josh Allen and Dallas Goedert for a hell of a performance this week. Losing by 7. So there you go, man. A couple duds out there. Him, T. Higgins, which we'll get into here next.
He says he also wants to thank God for blessing my wide receiver one with Zach Wilson. So little Garrett Wilson to Wilson connection. So we'll definitely talk about that here coming up. But right now, we're going to get into the next game. Plenty enough to talk about here in this one. Bengals 3, Browns 24. Burrow benched after going 14 for 31 passing, only 82 yards, no touchdowns, no picks, but a whole lot of a bunch of nothing out of Big D Joe. Signs the $275 million contract and comes out and throws for 82 yards and doesn't get to DNF. Did not finish. So what are your thoughts here? You got T Higgins, putting up a goose egg for people drafted in the second round. Obviously Chase, I think, only put up like 9 points in a PPR, if that. It was kind of rough all around, on the Bengals. Joe Mixon did decent. I mean, I think he got like 7 or 8 points. It's better than a 0, I guess. And then, as far as the Browns go, obviously they win the game, but they did lose their right tackle, Jack Conklin. He tore his ACL, and MCL will have season-ending surgery. We did see Amari Cooper go down with an injury. Yeah, he slipped after making a catch, but then he returned a little while later. So any takeaways here on the Brown sides, or anyone you're looking to pick up here?
Actually, I didn't have anybody on the Browns to look to pick up. It was an okay game. I wouldn't say too much about them. I want to see more. I mean, I hope to see more. Getting it put together, because I do have what's the name on my QB now? I can't even think of his QB now right now over the Browns.
Deshaun Watson.
Deshaun Watson. I couldn't think of
you got Deshaun Watson somewhere? Oh man,
somewhere. I picked up Deshaun Watson somewhere. It was late.
I can't believe it.
Late flyers and whatnot. I should have went with Tua. Picked the wrong guy.
A lot of people did.
But I just didn't see anything great. Nothing to write home about. They did get the W right. I mean, so that's important. And hopefully, better things to come. I think it was a weird first week for a lot of players. Like the opposite, happened of all these guys that we had high hopes and expectations of. Just like Joe Burrow, as you aforementioned, just did not play well. Just did not perform. Did not, just did not finish, as you said. You know what I mean? Like, so and that goes for a lot of guys. Like I said, just not just this game. So,
Yeah. The only guy I kind of have on my honorable mention in this game is Jerome Ford. He's only 13% owned on Sleeper, 9% owned on Yahoo. Had a 41% snap share. Did get 15 carries in this game, but Chubb obviously is the clear RB1 with 18 carries for 106. Ford only had 15 for 36 and had a costly fumble there as well. But he would, his usage even surprised me. Obviously, he didn't get a complete, third down role, so to speak. But 15 carries, he kind of looks like he took over that Hunt role. And what I was trying to say is Chubb's not getting that full 3-down workload like we thought he might, receive. Now it was kind of a blowout. Maybe they just were taking touches off him. Yeah, I was going to say it was smart, unlike what the Niners did, still running Christian McCaffrey out there when it's basically a blowout, which we'll get into in a little bit. But yeah, I just think he should belong, especially with all these injuries that happen, guys going in IR. He's somebody that I think is worth rostering. Should be more than 13 and 9% owned, in my opinion.
That was actually out for the trade for that guy. I was going to take it earlier in the season.
There you go. He's a handcuff. You're not starting him next week or anything.
Yeah.
So you're not spending a ton of fab, but this is
the Dynasty League. It was for the Dynasty League.
Oh, there you go. See.
So even longer term, you know what I mean?
I see. There you go. All right. So we got Jags 31, Colts 21. Anthony Richardson, Steichen gave an update on him. Says he has knee and ankle soreness. He said it could have gone back into the game after for those last 2 plays, but they kept him out for precautionary reasons. I think that was a bunch of BS. We all saw him get just completely lit up. That was a concussion. That was a head injury. His bell was rung, so to speak. And I didn't see his knee or anything get twisted on that hit. He got hit completely in the head, and maybe his knees buckled because he got rocked so hard.
that kind of those kind of things happen.
Those kind of
yeah. I mean, that's my only thing. But other than that, man, honestly, can't say anything else bad. I mean, wasn't the biggest, Richardson fan, but everyone's saying he's going to be a good fantasy QB because of that rushing. But I think people were actually surprised by his passing. He actually,
he passed very well.
Yeah, he didn't look to just run all the time, which there was actually opportunities where you thought he should have. And like from a fantasy purposes, if you had him, you wanted him to. But he actually tried to, make throws. Kind of have to eat crow. I mean, it is only just one game, but Michael Pittman had a good game. It was a 39-yard touchdown, but it was a screen pass. It wasn't like he hit him downfield or anything, but he was definitely being targeted. I think he had 11 targets. 8 catches, 11 targets for 97 yards and that 39-yard touchdown. Scoring 23, fantasy points in week 1. Not bad. Richardson 24 for 37 passing attempts, 223 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. So not, that was more than what I, thought that it was going to be coming out. So what were your thoughts on this game? I know I kind of said a lot there.
No, it was a good game. I mean, I was just backing you up with Anthony Richardson. I have him in a couple teams as a backup QB. I actually wanted to pick him up and hold on to him. And dynasty leagues or keeper leagues, I think he's going to have something special to go with. I think too much people were talking too much about his running. I think they just kind of really dismissed him as an actual ball down the field with his arm. So that'll just double produce for him. I mean, we've seen these guys that are running quarterbacks really just take off in the NFL here. Hurts and help me out here.
Fields.
Yeah.
Justin Fields.
Yeah, Justin Fields. Yeah. So you know what I mean? Like or Jackson too. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Doing so well. So I'm brighter things to come for this guy. I'm happy. I'm looking forward to seeing more. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I was completely avoiding this Indy offense. I was avoiding JT. I was avoiding Richardson. However, I did get Richardson in a couple basketball leagues.
JT,
Yeah. But I'm just saying. Yeah, I mean, as far as that goes, speaking of which, in the running backs, Evan Hall, he left the game dealing with a knee issue. They're saying he could miss some time. Deion Jackson did step in. He got 71% of the snaps there, but only had 13 carries for 14 yards. It's like what 1.10, like 1.07 per rush.
Yeah.
Not very good there. He did get targeted 6 times, 5 catches for only 14 yards. So at least maybe he kind of saved the day a little bit, I guess, in PPR, made it a little bit decent with those 5 catches. But for the most part, I'm just kind of avoiding the Indy. If it's not JT, I'm pretty much avoiding the Indy running back room. I'm not spending any fab on Deion Jackson, or I think there's other guys you could roster with a little more upside there.
So the question of the day
talent.
is
Pure
we're going to have JT come back. He's going to sit out the whole year.
He might get traded. They've been talking about they're going to clear him in his physical. I think once he's cleared by the physical, then he could be traded. The fact that they said they're resuming those talks after that whole deadline that they gave, it's just. I think they're done again unless he's willing to pay him. And we'll see what happens. Chris Jones got paid, Bosa got paid. Maybe he'll pay him. We never know. Especially if they played the Colts. They played the Jags pretty well. Took 31. They still did score 21. Bengals only scored 3 points. It's hard to score points in the NFL. So they still were able to, with the lack of weapons that we're talking about, put up 21 points. Jags defense isn't crazy good. But it felt like it was a close game, and they hung with them. It came down to the end. So is what it is. It was a good game.
Josh Downs, rookie, 3 for 30 over there, in the Colts as well. I mean, the other guy that I wanted to mention was Tank Bisbee on the other side of the ball for the Jaguars, 7 for 13 and a TD over there, right behind Travis Etienne for 1877 of the touchdown. But I think it's not highly owned. Where I have had his numbers at here. Hold on a second. There we go. These are 46% owned on Yahoo, 28 on ESPN, 0% on Sleeper. For some of these rookies, it just gives off numbers, and I think it's giving high numbers on Sleeper for some guys. But anyways, yeah, somebody just to look at.
I mean, he's literally loaned in every league I know.
Yeah, I don't know why.
yeah.
When I
it's
looked
just
him up on Sleeper, it's a 0%.
yeah, that does say that. No, I wonder if that's just a online thing.
Yeah, I don't know
it
why it
showed
does
it
that.
earlier. But yeah,
46 Yahoo, 28 ESPN. I'm sure it's more than 0 on Sleeper for whatever reason. It's reporting 0, whatever, right? But yeah, I like Tank
yeah,
Bisbee
go
in the
check it
game.
out.
He looked good, you know. Calvin Ridley looked good, getting his first touchdown. You know, I'm sure you're happy about that, Ant. You got some of that, right?
Yeah, but I did miss on Christian Kirk. You know, I mean, I did still grab my fair share of Ridley. And you're talking about our home league where I got him as my wide receiver 3. So yeah, that's a win. But yeah, so that was definitely good. And speaking of that, Zay Jones is someone I had as a potential waiver ad here. 37% owned on Sleeper, 31% on Yahoo. He did play 89% of the snaps. He outsnapped Christian Kirk, who I was big on. But it looks like he literally is purely the slot receiver there. He's coming off the field in 2 wide receiver sets, and it's Calvin Ridley and Zay Jones. And that's what the numbers showed. Zay Jones gets 7 targets, 5 catches, 55 yards, and a touchdown. You know, Christian Kirk, 1 catch, I think like 3 yards or something ridiculous like that. 1 catch on 3 targets. So
one catch, 9 yards, 3 targets.
Or 9 yards. Yeah, 3 targets. There we go. I knew those numbers were in there. They weren't worth writing down. So I didn't even want to remember it. I'm trying to forget. So yeah, I have so much Christian Kirk, but I think he'll bounce back, man. You know, again, we didn't expect the Colts to really put up that many points. They still put up 31. I wish, you know, Kirk could have had more of that as far as, you know, them putting up 31 and him only getting 9 yards. But, you know, there could be different matchups, you know, to come. So I'm not giving up on him yet. But Zay Jones, I think, is definitely worth, you know, more than less than 40% roster at this point, based on the numbers of week 1 here. So, anyone else you got in this game? Otherwise, this was another game I had a full screen dedicated to. Like I said, I had a lot of. I'm invested in a lot of Jaguars.
There, right?
I have a lot of Jaguars invested.
I want to see how this plans out.
Yeah, I had to do that.
I'm good. Yeah, Tank
We'll move on.
Was the guy that I had as a target.
There we go. So we'll move on here. We got Bucks 20, Vikings 17. Don't really have too much to take away from this game. No big injuries or anything like that. One thing I just kind of want to note, you know, Rachaad White wasn't too efficient. He was clearly the lead back. You know, Sean Tucker only had 15% of the snaps. You know, White played, just wasn't very efficient with his numbers. Was, you know, used in the passing game, and, you know, there could be opportunity there. The good thing as a whole is, you know, Baker looked fairly competent. He did hit Mike Evans for that big touchdown down the seam. So it was nice, you know, that they had that connection. You know, we'll see what happens, of course, with Mike Evans if he makes it, you know, the entire year with the Bucks. You know, he might be just trying to show off to get traded to show he still has it. But yeah, I think if anyone you want to take a look at, you know, Sean Tucker, he's 78% owned on Sleeper. You know, that's more so I think because of the Dynasty. Yahoo's only 4%. I'm sure on ESPN when, you know, would kind of be a little somewhere in between those 2 percentages. But, you know, he's definitely a name to keep an eye on. Maybe you don't need to spend a waiver or put in a fad bid for him now, but just definitely keep him on your kind of watch list, so to speak. So, and if you have a spot for someone you feel like, you know, dropping, then, you know, you could pick him up. You know, maybe if you lost JK for the season, you know, or got to put him in IR, maybe Sean Tucker's worth, you know, picking up as you shift your running backs up. So, you know, Justin Jefferson's the man, of course, on the other side of the ball. Jordan Addison looked really good as well too.
Let's say he didn't look bad either.
Yeah, so
61 on a TD.
Yeah, not bad. You know,
I mean, even Evans didn't look bad, man. 6 for 66 in the TD. Also, I was surprised on both of the sides. Was more on Tampa Bay side that they actually looked pretty good.
Yeah, I was like I said, I was surprised, but you know, Jeezy's watching right now, saying "I told you so" with Mike Evans. As soon as he scored The first person I thought of was Jeezy. So hopefully, as he's watching this, put some spec on his name. I never disrespected him. I just said, he's not going to do that every game. If he does, then I'll be like, all right, yeah, you got me. All right. So we got a couple things in the chat here.
Had that stat for him not long ago that showed that he was just a pretty effective and producing wide receiver over the years, and he's been just overlooked often, right?
Yeah. So we got Cadillac Hassan. Where do you think Garrett ranks now with Zach back at QB? So where would you put Zach Wilson? He was going kind of at that 1-2 turn. He was about
what would rank Garrett Wilson?
Yeah, that's what I said. Now that he's back with Zach Wilson.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
The Wilson to Wilson connection. I think he goes he's like behind, a little bit behind DK, maybe a little ahead, but like if you now compare their quarterbacks, I mean DK is more of a split, so maybe like maybe right ahead of DK. I think ahead of DK, ahead of Hopkins. I think I have him in that kind of range. Below Ridley. He's definitely behind Ridley after this week, after what we saw with Ridley. So where do you think you kind of have
that touchdown catch was nice.
Yeah, it was very nice.
It was a back.
It was very nice.
And this guy's pulling him down. He's like one-handed as I'm falling on my back catch. Aside from other ones that looked really nice. I don't think he moves for me. Based on this game, honestly, we were
from Aaron Rodgers to Zach Wilson. Come on now.
They had a connection already last year. They've already been playing together anyways. It's not like they haven't been playing together. Can Wilson turn it around? And
that was their first touchdown that they had.
There you go. See, it's starting right there.
All right,
start somewhere.
We'll come back to that conversation. I put him
close to the DK range, much.
But I'm still happy.
Not lowering him.
Yeah, like 3 spots. Like
maybe.
I think I lowered. Because Adam's still got a lot of targets, man. Adam's the man. I think I have him around that DK range, but like I'd have him like maybe right ahead of DK. He's still good, man. He's really good. What's up, Blurpy? We got Blurpy back in here. He says, should I trade Etienne and Debo for Gibbs and Ridley? Nah, I'll keep Etienne and Debo. I just don't want anything to do with Gibbs at the moment. Maybe later. I'd see what you could do there.
Upside on Ridley, though.
Yeah, Etienne for Ridley, yes. Debo for Gibbs, I'm not quite there yet. They went about the same range. Depending on your build, what other wide receivers you have. Obviously, you're going to get Ridley. I would just see if we could just trade Ridley for Etienne straight up. If it's full PPR, even half PPR, I would take that trade. For sure.
Thank you.
What do you think?
All depends on your bench.
You agree?
Yeah.
Yeah, give us a little more info there, Blurpy.
Yeah. I would say what Anthony said, though. I like the last thing you said. Etienne for Ridley straight up and call it a day. I'm over straight up trying to trade person, so anyways. Yes,
you get a little more complicated once you start adding other pieces. Like if you're just trying to do that, you don't want the same team stack. Just do a quick little switch up. We got Kyle in the house saying, "What up, Chiefs? How's it going, brother? How you doing?" We got Taco Cheese in here saying, "Should I pick up Gainwell, Algier, or Kyron Williams?" So these guys are all on my waiver list this week. If I had to rank them, I'd say Gainwell, Algier. No, I say Gainwell. Gainwell, Algier, Kyron Williams. The way you have it, I think that'd be my order.
Yeah, I'm Gainwell.
I drafted a lot of Gainwell, so week 1 waiver wire for me is a little kind of wah because I already have apparently the number 1 guy.
I think I'll probably do the same, definitely same order. Gainwell, Tyler, Jalen, Kyron Williams in that order.
There you go. Although Matt Stafford did look good.
I would throw in some Joshua Kelly down there.
Yeah, for sure. Elias says, "Is it cool if I ask some trade questions?" He got a couple. We'll definitely try to take them. Usually our Wednesday show is where we do our buy-sell trade, so we'll try to answer it the best we can. But we're still kind of in the week 1 mode. But we're always, thinking future ahead as well too. So definitely drop it in the chat. We'll try to get to it. But that we really dive into it on Wednesdays. So we hope you could join us then. And if you're watching right now, make sure you hit that subscribe button if you're not subscribed already. If you are subscribed, hit that like button for us. It helps us out just as much as subscribe. So we'd really appreciate that, man. And again, we'll definitely get to your guys' questions for here. He said definitely Algier is what he was. Definitely for Algier.
Yeah, definitely.
I think he was answering his up there. So Kyle's asking, should I drop Quentin Johnson for any of the hot waiver wire pickups this week? Like maybe Puka Nacua, but like QJ's the Puka Nacua if Keenan Allen goes down. Like just Cooper Kupp happened to go down, man. So like again, it really kind of depends on your situation, but obviously QJ is probably like your wide receiver 4 or 5, there. If you're really hurting at running back and you went like 0 RB, then maybe you drop QJ for like Gainwell.
It all depends
for his
on
potential,
if he had
but
any injuries or needs, obviously, right? Like you have J.K. Dobbins go down or whatever. You know what I mean? Like he's saying, I think it all depends on your team build, who you have, and what you don't. If you're just dropping to pick somebody up, I would just hold on to Johnson.
So, it kind of depends on that build. But it was a little. Again, we have to know with these rookie guys. If you drafted them, you hopefully drafted them for like the long haul. Like the Amon-Ra St. Browns that pop at the end of the year, the Christian Watsons that pop at the end of the year. You have to be willing to keep them or trade, like drop them, let them go, but make sure, with the hopes and intention of, pick them up again before, they start to pop off. You just have to hope someone else doesn't have a dead roster space that, was kind of eyeing that guy, before you can do it. Now, my whole thing always, and this is just like a fantasy football 101, before you drop somebody like that you spended good draft capital on that didn't necessarily lose any stock, given his, how and why you drafted him as a rookie, and the offense he's part of, like try to trade him first. Like even if he's a 2-for-1, piece and you can upgrade something, someone you do like on your bench or your starting lineup and add QJ to it to open up that roster spot, I'd much rather do that. But again, that's why we talk about all that kind of stuff on Wednesday, so we can go into that kind of detail. You got to stop me, Frank, when I start going into that, man. Just be like, no. That's for Wednesday, Ant. That's for Wednesday.
Yeah, that's all right.
Tell him to tune in for Wednesday to get
he
that.
Was like, I'll take Gibson really over Etienne easy, though, right?
So there you go. You see the hat I'm wearing. It's hard for me to. Yeah. Devo's just that dude. He could pop off any one of these days, and he could have been the guy with 2 touchdowns. I'm just saying.
They're just starting.
Yeah. Would you guys trade McLaurin for DJ Moore? I might. Like, our greatest fears of what DJ Moore could have happened, with Justin Fields looking pretty awful as far as the passing game goes this week. That connection didn't look very well. But I think, you got to hold it off. It just kind of depends on what your thoughts are on it. For me personally, again, if I don't have Dotson, then of course I'd rather have McLaurin. I think he is that dude. I think that offense is going to have to play. They're going to, but they are going to face a lot better defenses, as we saw with the Cowboys defense last night in Philly. We're going to see them twice. So maybe I would just hang on to DJ Moore and see how that plays out a little bit.
Says, and Brees for Saquon. I'd keep DJ Moore, by the way. Just keep DJ Moore.
There you go.
He'll be fine.
Brees for Saquon? Man, you got some crazy trades going on. Brees did look good. I'm not quite going to eat crow yet, because I never said, he wouldn't be, still good. Like, he's still good. I haven't doubted his talent. We've seen all the injuries that have happened to able-bodied people. Like, somebody that's still recovering can easily pull a hammy, groin, ACL, right, and be right back down. And the percentages are just higher risk of injury, like of a re-injury or a compensation injury. It's just it's math. It's purely math based. Like, I have to have no feelings behind it.
A little bit better right now, mostly because of Cook, because there's a lot of Cook action going on in that offense now. You know what I mean? And it's either whether they're because they're trying to ease Brees in or not. I mean, Holland. And the point is that he's sharing time, and I don't think that's going to change.
Yeah, Saquon. I would definitely take the Saquon side, and I mean, he's going to face some. He's going to face some tough defenses, but especially in the PPR. But I mean, Brees, man, he looks good, and he is going to check. Wilson's going to check down a lot. Wilson's going to check down a lot to him. Again, if he could stay healthy, it'd be close. Because, if Brees wasn't coming off an ACL, I mean, with Aaron Rodgers, I think he's about there. So that's tough. But, and so Kyle's saying the same thing. Saquon is greater than Brees for now. It could change as the season goes on. If he gets stronger as the season goes on and can avoid that early re-injury like Godwin had and a lot of the other guys kind of suffered early on. Saquon with that high ankle, then yeah.
I skipped forward to see that. Sorry.
Oh no, you're okay. So he has Siri and Brees in that one. So he basically could change Brees to
for
Saquon and DJ Moore for McLaurin.
I'd stick with Terry.
I'd see if you could just trade. Can you trade Terry for Brees? Just get Brees and Saquon. Try to make that happen. Trade all of them for him.
But I'd rather have Saquon.
Yeah, I'd rather have Saquon too. All right, so what you're saying? Probably can't trust. Can't just trade ETN. My RBs are ETN, Connor, Rashad White, Dylan, and P Ryan. Wide receivers are Diggs, Garrett Wilson. Oh, he's stacked. You got nice. Yeah, Judy and Watson dealing with hamstrings though.
Judy and Watson are down.
Yeah, I think I'd keep the ETN and Debo side. I think you need that running back a little better. I think that running back's more important to your running backs versus the wide receivers. You still have Diggs and Wilson. You don't need Ridley. Like Debo's just fine, and you got Judy and Watson. Like you need ETN over someone like Gibbs right now. Like if you could, I would try to trade like Connor and Dylan and Debo, or Connor and White and Debo for who was it?
He's not going to get anything for White right now.
Well, I mean, if he doubled it up, did it 3 for 2?
3 for 2.
Yeah.
Anthony likes to say, "Hey, it's not the trade show. Let's move on from the trades.
Oh yeah,
Let's
see
the games."
You guys get me all twisted when you start talking trades.
Yeah,
that's what I like.
I'm
like, oh yeah, now we're gonna do trades. All right, so we're overreacting.
Titans and Saints.
There we go. Go ahead, you do it, Frank. Take it away. I need to reset.
The Titans 15, Saints 16. Saints pull out the win. Chris Olave limped off the field, but returned to rack up over 100 yards. So hey. He actually didn't do too bad. I think you already mentioned Tajay Spears on all the third downs, right, Ant? So that's the guy we're already talking about. 93% sleeper, 50% Yahoo, 54% of snap share, 3 for 27 rush yards, and 4 for 1 reception on 1 target. So that's the highlight of the game, really, right? I mean, who do we got over there? Titans and Saints.
Yeah, I mean, Hopkins did okay, had a lot of targets. I think I said like between 12 and 17 targets, and I think he hit 10 catches. Didn't do too much. Obviously guarded by Marshawn Lattimore, as Tycoon was telling me on Friday. Have some respect on that dude's name, and he damn well earned it, man. Marshawn Lattimore's a beast at an interception. But D-Hop still did me okay. Got me, I think, like exactly 10 points, and I'll take the double-digit scoring. In a week like this, so not too much really kind of changed.
65 on D-Hop.
Yeah. So not too much change for me as far as no big injuries in this one. Like we said, Olave, came back, returned. Rashid Shaheed, looked pretty decent in this game. So did Mike Thomas. Most of those guys were drafted. Shaheed might be out there. But what I take away most is, Jamal Williams wasn't a great start in this one. They're going to be throwing the ball. Like, it's going to be a Derek Carr show over there. It's going to be Olave. It's going to be Mike Thomas for as long as he can stay healthy. Looks like it'll be Rashid Shaheed as well. Jawan Johnson did okay.
Here's 16% on Yahoo owns, 2% on ESPN. Sleeper again showing a 0 for him, but he did go 5 for 89 and a touchdown.
Okay. Yeah, exactly. He did well. I had him in a few best ball leagues. Actually, a lot of the leagues I was in, like first and second place, I did have him on my teams, and I do had quite a few. I think I had like 4 or 5 Tua. What's funny is I had Tua and Josh Allen on several teams, and I had the Tua Tyreek stack, and a couple of them I had the Tua and Waddle stack. But yeah, a lot of those Tua Tyreek stacks on Underdog got me in first place, sitting there after week 1. It was real nice. So anyway, wrong game. Pretty interesting one here. Favorite part of this game for me was right at the end when the Saints took the knee and the clock ran out, and Derek Carr just struck the ball in the stands. That cost him, I think, $6,000. He'll get fined for throwing a ball in the audience like that. So congratulations, he was willing to pay that fine to throw that ball. Yeah, and
because I mean,
throw that
Derek
ball to
Carr
the
is a
Raiders
waiver
for
wire
trading him.
ad for me this week. You know,
Oh, I haven't even been mentioning quarterbacks. Good call.
Oh, yeah. Well, throw this one in because it's the first one that came up. By the way, it's not because other ones didn't come up. This is the first one that's come up as far as the waiver wire ad. Yahoo 38%, ESPN 28%, and over 50% on Sleeper. So Sleeper had it right. Everybody else is it's kind of funny that when we do the waiver wires, how the numbers stack out on that. By the way, and 23 for 33 yards, 305 yards, and a TD for Derek Carr. Good numbers, and like you just mentioned, it looks like he's just going to be throwing the ball over there, and obviously that's what we like to see if the quarterback is getting fling it in the air, get 300-yard games, and we're good with that. The touchdowns will come. So, yeah, I mean, he looked good on the team, man. It was a good showing, dude. I liked it.
Huge monkey off his back to get the win, and it looked like they might have come back and lose it again. I was like, oh no, but he realized he's not on the Raiders, so
he didn't have to do that.
So it didn't happen. Yeah, it didn't happen. It came through for him. So, so well done. Yeah, absolutely. How many passes did he have? Yeah, they threw it 33 times, so not bad. 300 yards. Yeah, like you said, the touchdowns will come. He had one pick. Yeah. All right. So who else do we got here?
We got your game. Your game's up.
Yeah. See, I set you up for that one. Set you up for that one. Of course, we got the Niners 30, Steelers 7 in this one. The 7 was too much. They shouldn't even have that. But it happened either way. It was a lot going on. Pat Freiermuth did catch a touchdown. He left the game momentarily. He got kind of sandwiched in the end zone on that catch. And he was hurting. You could see it. But he came back in and finished it out. Someone who unfortunately didn't finish, wide receiver Deontay Johnson. Sorry, Classic Mike. We all know this was his guy. Overdrafted him everywhere. Had his biggest flag planted on this guy. He pulled up after a great catch and run. Tried to cut inside. Looked like he just kind of wrecked his hamstring. Like his leg completely shimmered shut, and he went right to the ground immediately and started grabbing right, at the back, right above the knee. He was ruled out pretty quickly. So we'll see if it's something that turns out to be long term. On the other side of the ball, just something worth mentioning, defensive end Cam Hayward. Looks like he left the game with a groin injury after the MRI today. Looks like he's going to have surgery, which will keep him out about 8 weeks. So he's going to miss about half the season there. So not a good day for Steelers. Sorry about that, Wilson, if you're watching this. But my Niners, I'm not saying in response to the injuries. I'm just saying, comma or period. Now we're moving on to the next take. My Niners put that beat down on you guys. It was a nice showing from our defense there.
It was Allen Robinson showing them miraculously 5 for 64.
Yeah,
kind of crazy.
Yeah, 5.
Like you're saying, they run into a buzzsaw. You guys got a good defense, especially a good run stop defense. I mean, Najee got 6 for 31. Jalen Warren 3 for 6. So there's not much there. Kenny Pickett did end up for 31 pass attempt, 46 attempts, 31 completions, 232 yards and 1 touchdown, 2 INTs. So, I mean, you know what I mean? Like, obviously, you guys just dominated the game. I mean, Purdy looked good, right? McCaffrey looked nice, right? I mean, what else you got to say?
Can't say too much. I just like hearing you say those things. I never thought you'd even go on and even do that. I was letting you go. Hey, I was going to say you didn't even let me go on and talk about it for a long time.
Guys, let's move on, though.
Let's just move on. All right. Well, we got the Ollie. No, Ollie Boscott said, "What are your thoughts on Najee?" Besides him getting rocked that we talk about by Fred Warner.
It's just too early to see anything or tell anything against your defense, and that's that. You got to wait one more game.
Yeah, not too much to take away from this one. But yeah, like you mentioned, Allen Robinson, 50% owned on Sleeper, 3% on Yahoo. Played 89% of the snaps. Still, very high snap percentage. We remember he was always all part of the all cardio team. But again, this one garnered 8 targets, like you said, 64 yards. Someone else to maybe just keep your eye on if Deontay does miss extended time. It seems like every time, there was somebody being thrown to, maybe just because he was running so short, was Calvin Austin. 6 catches, 6 receptions, or 6 receptions on 6 targets, 37 yards. He's 47% owned on Sleeper, only 1% on Yahoo. He played 56% of the snaps. So just someone to, again, keep your eye on. That looks like they're making a concerted effort. Second-year kid, been in this offense, last year, and got, some good playing time in this one, and some, earned 6 targets. That's no feat. Amon Ra only had 6 targets. So 6 targets is a good amount. So keep your eye on this kid,
that's
Calvin Austin.
Yeah, that's like a
All
good
right.
average for a day, honestly.
Yeah,
Anything
that's
more
not
than
too
that,
bad.
you're fucking, cherry on top type stuff.
Yeah. All right. So, like you said, Cardinals 16, Commanders 20. This was an interesting one. Felt like the Commanders couldn't get out of their own way. I believe Cardinals were even like winning for a while. I think it was like 13-16 before they scored that touchdown to make it 20-16. And then Dobbs even had a chance to come back and win at the end, and just kind of Dobbs things up. But they made the announcement already. Josh Dobbs will remain the starter. Don't want to spend too much on this game, but I had a couple guys to highlight on this one. Zach Ertz, 10 targets, 6 catches, only 21 yards, but someone to keep your eye on.
Sure.
And then Curtis Samuel, 5 targets, 5 catches. Really only played in 3 wide sets, so he wasn't really on the field. But when he was on there, again, targeted 5 times. They did design 1 run for him, 1 carry for 6 yards. He's 80% owned on Sleeper, I think more so again due to Dynasty. Only 10% on Yahoo, but he did play 65% of the snaps. And a game we thought might kind of more fit a game style to be a more run heavy team, but still saw the field a good percentage of the time. So just someone to keep your eye on if you're really looking to fill a depth spot. You got anybody else on this game you want to talk about?
Well, I want to highlight Sam Howell, man.
There you go.
19 for 31 here, 202 and a touchdown, 1 INT. Hey, if you got somebody went down, namely tonight, this might be the only guy that's available in your league.
And a rushing touchdown, and he did it on the ground.
Touchdown. So that's not bad numbers over there. And obviously you got pretty good targets in Logan Thomas. I'm sorry, Logan Thomas just getting the 4-for-3, but Jahan Dotson, Terry McLaurin, and as Anthony just mentioned, Curtis Samuel. So the teams just got to play together, gel together, but get more things going for themselves. But I mean, they got the W. I know it was rough, but sometimes those ugly wins is what gets you fired up, keep going, right?
Yeah, win's a win in the NFL. They're hard to come by.
Yeah.
So I'm sure they'll take it.
You got to take it.
Yeah. On this one was Antonio Gibson, who we kind of had ranked around Brian Robinson. Brian Robinson really did show out. Got 19 carries, only 59 yards. Not very efficient. 3.1 yard average. But more importantly, he was actually used, in the passing game. He actually got 2 targets, only 1 catch for 7 yards, but it was a 7-yard touchdown. So again, just something to keep your eye on with my boy B-Rob over there. And I'm talking to you, Ron Kalla, if you're watching. Nah, I got you. Talking, that's my guy right there, man. So we can move on. Unless you had anybody else in this one. We got Packers 38, Bears 20. A lot of news in this one, of course. Christian Watson, who was out due to his hamstring injury, said today that the injury is to the same leg, which is his right leg, as the one that kept him out 3 games last year. But he added that they're all a little different and it's not the same thing. So it's not in the same spot, he said. This week he's going to be, to be determined. But IR is not something that he thinks will be needed. So, he's not sure if he's coming back this week. I mean,
some of the shares of him.
Yeah, it sounds like he's going to be out 1 more week, but is going to try to give it a go for that following week. And if he's not making any improvements, I would assume they'd probably put him on IR, because that's already 2. They could have put him on already. Just to be on the safe side, kind of like they're doing with Cooper Kupp. It almost forces them not to come back too early. So, So in other news, Aaron Jones, speaking of hamstrings, we all saw in that big run that he had. He pulled up with the hamstring, kind of ran right into the tunnel. He said he kind of felt it bite at the end of that touchdown catch and run. He pulled it kind of right before, but he said it wasn't near as bad as it was before. So or he's just saying it's not anywhere near as bad as like maybe what people thought it was going to be. He ended up not coming back, but it was because the score was kind of already at hand. He said he could have played if they needed him to, so I'm sure he'll take it easy. I would expect some limited tags for him, but as long as he's good to go on Sunday, you could feel comfortable firing him up. So, any other takeaways or guys you had on this game?
Yeah, so I just put him up here. It's Romeo Doubs, wide receiver there. He ended up going 4 for 26 and 2 TDs. He's more of the the touch guy, man. I'm telling you, PPR guy here. 31% on Yahoo, 19% on ESPN, and 53% on Sleeper already owned. So Sleeper did not sleep on him, but Yahoo and ESPN is widely available for him, and I think he's going to be benefiting with Christian Watson nursing the injury. And even with Christian Watson gets back, I think it'll open up even some more. Jalen Reed also had a good day there at Green Bay, 2 for 48 over there. So he's getting some nice numbers. Yahoo's 12%, ESPN 17, and Sleeper is not ranking him for whatever reason. Sleeper's off, whatever right now. I think it'll straighten out after this first week. But yeah, those are the kind of the highlights that I was looking at some of these guys. Anybody you seen that you needed I thought there were. Dobbs is definitely a waiver wire ad for myself.
I mean, I already got Dobbs. You'll see that I have him in our home league already. I drafted him. Jalen Reed, not bad. Someone to keep an eye on, but I think once Watson goes back, he may go back to the fold. Maybe come in. Be that third wide receiver potentially. Love didn't look too bad this weekend, but didn't look as crisp. As before, but again, they still put up 38 points. And just I think Aaron Jones is the man. But someone in this game to keep an eye on, Roshan Johnson, 94. 94% owned on Sleeper. Again, that's probably largely due to Dynasty, but 16% owned on Yahoo. I don't know if you have the ESPN one there, Frank, but he played 39% of snaps. I mean, they basically rotated all three running backs there, so it wasn't great for my Clear Herbert shares there. He did get 5 carries, 20 yards, and did score a rushing touchdown. It was more kind of late once the game was a little out of hand, or just could have been part of his rotation. But more importantly, he is kind of that third down role. Did get 7 targets on and got 6 catches for 35 yards. So that was positive to see. Scored good fantasy points in a PPR league, so he could be in that flex position almost any week. And could potentially take over in this backfield. So definitely someone I'd rather roster. Okay. So yeah, maybe by the time I checked it was already going up more. So anybody else on this one, or you want to move on?
Nope. I think we're good on that one.
All right. Maybe so Raiders
questions for a little while here. I don't know.
We'll get to it. We'll try to.
We'll roll the tape back. Don't worry. We'll roll the tape back on that.
Yeah, keep dropping your questions in there, man. As you guys are watching, make sure you hit that subscribe button for us. If you already subscribed, hit that like button too. Helps us out just as much as a subscribe. And then again, just drop your questions. We'll get to them in the chat. And I forgot to put the banner on. There you go, so you guys can see all that. But yeah, so we'll move on here. Raiders 17, Broncos 16. Nasty hit to Jacoby Myers late in the game there. He's in concussion protocol officially now. We had Greg Dulcich in this game ruled out with a leg injury. So we saw a lot of Troutman in this one. Russell Wilson looked like he just spread the ball around everywhere. I had to start Sutton, so I was pretty happy with that. With that start by him scoring a touchdown for the league I have Cooper Kupp out in. So I was really happy with that spot start. But overall Broncos offense just kind of looked a bunch of the same, new coach, but same kind of results. Leads me to believe it has to do with Russell Wilson.
Players, right?
Yeah. Obviously with Jacoby, with Jerry Jeudy being out, that makes a difference. You could argue that he is the number one receiver there. So, close game, but Raiders end up pulling it off here. What are your takeaways from this game, and anybody you're looking at?
Yeah. Jacoby Myers, had a pretty good day, and unfortunately did go into the promotion protocol. But I would definitely keep an eye on him because he's not too widely owned. 50% on Yahoo, 79% on ESPN Sleeper, 40%. He did go for 81 yards and 2 TDs. So that's good numbers.
Yeah, Tycoon called it. Tycoon called this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Called Jacoby Myers out.
I got it. Yeah, I gotta give him his props on Myers. He even hit me with the text today. He's like, I told you,
Nice.
I told you about
That's
Myers.
that's
So
my guy.
yeah, I was like, all right, man, all right. But no, he did call that one. And again, he was one of the guys that I realized I actually drafted a good amount, Tycoon, on my fantasy team. So a lot of the teams I had to go like late. Jimmy G quarterback, I got the stack with Myers in my best ball league. So a lot of those like second and third place teams, I did have Jacoby Myers, Jimmy G stack in there. But it was more so Myers that was contributing to my to my winning lineup more so than Jimmy G was. He was just kind of there. But yeah, so good call on that one. Yeah, if he's again one of the higher owned players, but still like you said, 50% on Yahoo. That's still enough leagues for a guy getting this type of target share. Looks like he has that rapport with Jimmy G, so should definitely be on your roster. Yeah, a lot of these higher percentage guys that we're talking about, they're obviously, these are guys that we feel should be drafted. Almost why we're kind of don't mention them, but we kind of have to throw some of these people out there to be like, just in case he's out there on your league, you might want to have this guy. More so like 12-team leagues, 10-team leagues. It could be a bench guy, but yeah. So anyway, we'll move on. Game of the week: Dolphins 36, Chargers 34. Shootout as we expected. What is that? 70 points, 70-point over under that they put up there. Eckler left late with an ankle injury. Kind of worrisome to see. Our boy Eckler here. They're saying his status is to be determined for Wednesday practice. He'd left the game and did not return, as I mentioned. Other injury news: Mike Williams was being evaluated for a head injury, but he later returned. So to me, someone who might even be higher on the waiver wire than Gainwell. I mean, Gainwell, depending on if you need somebody kind of for more the long term. But if you need somebody possibly for next week, Josh Kelly, 58% owned on Sleeper, 5% on Yahoo, had 48% snap share. And again, Eckler left late, so it wasn't like he just got it because, Eckler got hurt. He's the clear number 2 running back in this offense, high-powered offense. Had 16 carries on his own for 91 yards and a touchdown. Only had 1 target. Obviously that goes to Eckler as far as those running back targets, but more importantly, just his basically split usage. I think he and Eckler both had 16 carries. Eckler had over 100 yards. He had that big run where he kind of got caught down, and he also scored a touchdown as well. So to me, Josh Kelly is someone who absolutely should be owned, and I'll be putting waivers in.
And I did mention that guy last week.
Good call.
I remember I did bring him up, and I was like, "Hey, if you need a handcuff or whatever," I was like, "This guy's gonna be balling. He's gonna be doing some timeshare work over there with the Eckler anyway." So, you mentioned the numbers. 1691 a touchdown and getting the target there, receiving definitely a waiver ad at one of the top guys that I had for this week as well.
Nice. You got anything else to mention besides the crazy Tua throwing for 466 yards and Tyreek Hill having over 200 yards? He's on pace to get his 2,000 yards that he promised. 2 touchdown game. Even Durham Smythe got crazy in here. 7 targets, 5 catches for 44 yards. Just this Dolphins
466 yards, quite a bit, man. Come on. These guys are just chucking it. Tyreek Hill with 215 yards total, 2 touchdowns. Waddles for 4 for 78. Like you're saying, Durham Smythe. Come on, Baxton Berrios getting some looks over here. Baxton Berrios, exactly. That's like who's getting? I think another guy to keep an eye out though is for Savon Ahmed though for running game here.
Ahmed,
yes. Ahmed, yes. He's the only one that's kind of creeping. But obviously the clear cut touches go to Raheem Mostert, right? 10 for 37 of the TD. But if anybody's getting some work in or get etched in, it would be
or heaven forbid Mostert gets hurt, because we all know that may not, we know that's not going to happen.
That's not going to happen. You know what? Don't be
That's
putting
never
that salt
happened
in my
before.
air, man. I got that one guy. All right. The only guy I can throw in next week or see what happens because, like, everybody's going down. I'll definitely be on the waiver wire going this week. So, too many injuries, too many problems. It's got to figure some things out.
There you go.
Bend the team up.
This is how you do it. One other thing to mention here is the Everett Parham split, man, at tight end here in this offense. We know Kellen Moore does like to involve the tight end in the offense. Just interesting that, Everett had some work, but when it was in the goal line, I swear it felt like all three of his targets were to Parham in the end zone, it felt like. But he ends up with 3 targets, 2 catches, 21 yards, and 1 touchdown. And like I said, one of his missed targets was in the end zone as well. So Parham might be one of those. I mean, we're just scrounging for tight ends at this point. Like, now you guys know why we say great or late. Like, it doesn't take much, man, to get in there. So just grab a tight end when you can. All right, so let's get into some of the chat here. We'll get to some of your questions. You got anything? Drop them down. Who else you got in there?
Well, as far as just tight ends, though, I'm just saying I'd rather have like maybe the Hayden Hurst that we mentioned, or Hunter Henry.
Oh yeah, I had Hayden Hurst on so many of my best ball teams.
Yeah, so I think both of
those. He's like the tight end. Yeah, he's like what did I say? Tight end too.
With Gerald Everett and Parham, like you're saying, I would rather just get the other guys. It's just more of a clearer role.
Make you feel a little better, right?
Yeah.
All right. So let's see. Where did we stop off here? Kyle was asking. All right. So second question then. Do I run forward with Kincaid or drop him for someone else like Laporta, Musgrave, or Henry? Frank, as a big time Kincaid fan, guy who's drafted him like 6th round, 6th, 7th round in some mocks, and real drafts as it got closer.
I drafted him. I wanted him.
Are you dropping him, or you knew it was a long-term investment when you made this pick, right? You're not dumping him after week 1.
No, I'm not dropping after week 1. There's no way. This is more of a long-term investment. If you got, I drafted him as a backup, not as a starter for when. And
even if you drafted him first, you still drafted a tight end that you knew you were going to probably start week 1 first, right?
Yeah, basically, yeah. He was not going to be the starter. Unfortunately, he ended up having to be the starter because I had Mark Andrews not actually playing whatnot, this, that. But I'm still holding on. I'm not panicking. Now, if you do have options like Sam Laporta, Musgrave, or Henry, and if you have the need or whatnot, then you can. If you have the room, should be picking those guys up if you have the need. If this is the only guy, you should.
I wouldn't trade him for another rookie like Musgrave or Laporta because you're basically doing the same thing. I'd rather have the guy attached to Josh Allen as bad as he looked tonight, so to speak, with those 3 picks. We still know who Josh Allen is. We're giving him the benefit of the doubt, just like Joe Burrow. So I'd want to stick with it. He ended up with what? Kincaid had 4 targets, caught all 4 of them for 26 yards. So not bad. I mean, that's not a bad debut. I think he scored more than Laporta, almost just as much as Musgrave. I don't know how much he scored out off the bat. But the only other thing is Knox did also have 4 targets. He caught 3 of those for 25 yards. So he was kind of right behind him. You just hope by the end of the year he's getting all 8 of those targets, and he plays, Knox out of target share. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think when you drafted someone like Kincaid, you had to dedicate a second roster spot to a tight end, and that's just the build you were willing to go for. So if you don't believe in that build anymore, then let him go.
My whole idea is to hold on, hope that he turns out to be the next Kelsey, because it's the only upside that he has is that he's on a good offense, good team.
Top 5 tight end. I mean, you don't have to say the next Kelsey, but just a weekly top 5 tight end.
I mean, I picked him up because of that reasoning. I mean, that's
the whole point.
Yeah, or else why have the second back? Why hold up the tight end? I mean, you wouldn't do it. You just have another tight end that's out there.
Yeah, you're hoping he's closer to Kelsey than the tight end 10.
Exactly.
So we'll all agree on that. All right, so there we go.
Yeah.
So Elias is in here saying thoughts on Godwin, and would you guys have him over Terry and Moore? I like Godwin over Terry and Moore. Yeah, I think I do.
Yeah, I think I would too. After this game showed enough that
like maybe more. I mean, more Justin Fields. Again, if you're just ranking QBs, you'd have to say Justin Fields greater than Sam Howell, greater than Baker. But like Baker's the most experienced at all those guys. So again, in a redraft, like yeah, give me Godwin. Like they're both experienced. They're proven. Godwin's proven to be an elite talent. Top wide receiver 1 type talent. Granted, it was with Brady, but I'd still take that Godwin bet. Let's see. We have Shiatsu in here saying, I get Brees, Laporta, Mike Evans, trade away Kelsey, Mooney in a Dynasty league. Dynasty makes it a little even. If you're not competing and you can move Kelsey, getting Brees the way he looked today with a young tight end and Laporta with his 6 targets that he got in week 1. And yeah, you have Mike Evans. You're kind of, I don't want to say buying high, but makes you a little more comfortable after getting that long, catch this weekend. And you can always look to flip him later to a contender if you're looking to rebuild with Brees and Laporta. So I might actually take that trade. And you're basically getting Kelsey. I mean, Mooney to me is like a kind of throw-in piece. He did score a touchdown this week, but I mean, I think I'd take that Brees, Laporta, Mike Evans side.
I would.
What do you think?
I would take Brees, Laporta side.
Oh, there you go. I had to think it out there out loud. So I wonder if that
I get what I would. I
would try to get a pick
Kelsey
in there too.
Kelsey has shown his age now. You know what I mean? Like I would just with that injury, just in general. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
you're kind of no lie. You're kind of selling a little lower on Kelsey, but like Brees is, and how Brees kind of looked today, and again because it's Dynasty,
buying high on Brees.
Yeah. I mean, I just think Brees would be an easier asset to flip later too. So I feel like you're selling a little low on Kelsey. Like, if I could take Mike Evans out and get like a first, I'd much rather take that. Even if it was like a 26 first, not even a 25, like, or even a 24. Like, I'll take a 25 or 26 first instead of Mike Evans, or like in addition to like, I would need the 26 first too. Maybe it's far enough out to where they would do it. So, but I'm the dentist, as everybody knows. I try to milk everything, but Kelsey's worth it, man. It's Kelsey. Don't sell short on Kelsey. Thoughts on Michael Thomas? Could this be the year? That's how I'm going to respond to that. No, straight no from Frank. Man, what a week. A few rapid fire questions for you guys. Hit us with it. He says rapid fire and then comes out with like a whole paragraph. I don't know if he could do that. Yeah, I don't know. We got Jessel. What's up, Jessel? Welcome to the stream. He says, is Caleb Williams a top 10 QB in the world right now? Yeah, he had a pretty good showing from what I heard. Definitely going to be the 101 next year. So we'll see. It's going to be between the Rams actually look kind of good. It's going to be between the, Cardinals even kind of look good, but they're doing a good job losing. So Cardinals will have Caleb Williams next year. All right. So here's his rapid fire question. Josh Allen a scary pick now, or will he return to form? Khalil Herbert understandable, or did he just have a shitty game script? Ayuk for real. Jordan Addison still a breakout candidate, and tight ends are scary. So hit the first one first. Josh Allen a scary pick now, or will he return to form? I'll take return to form.
Return to form as well.
All right. So Khalil Herbert unstartable, or did he just have a shitty game script? I want to see another week, so I'll take the game script side on that one.
Yeah,
I'm not giving out yet, but I'm definitely rostering Roshan.
Ooh, yeah. Go get some Roshan.
Especially as the Herbert owner. Yeah, go get Roshan. Ayuk for real? Absolutely for real.
Yeah.
We called this before the Debo breakout. Remember, he was just in Shanny's. Yeah. He was the one being drafted in the 4th when Debo was being drafted in the 7th.
Yeah.
And then he went in the doghouse because he knew he was the shiz, and then they straightened him out, and then now he's back in Shanny's good graces. So now we can see what he could do. He's that guy.
Yeah. I think he's going to have a better year than Debo, period.
Oh, there you go. Jahan Dotson still a breakout candidate. Absolutely. I'm not giving up on one game. We had him as a sit. He still, I don't think he did all right, but we had him as a sit this week. That I think was game script. We kind of seen that one coming. And tight ends are scary. I'd say yes. We'll say yes for tight ends are scary.
All right, so I guess he did them all at once. I thought that was going to be like one question, so I guess that was kind of rapid fire.
I like this one. Will Derek
Go
Carr feed Kamara when he gets back?
Absolutely.
That's going to be definitely in the bag.
For sure.
I'm looking forward to some of that, honestly.
For sure. Did you see how much non-production happened at that running back position? Yeah.
Yeah. It's Joshua Kelly viable flex play now?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. Especially with the Eckler injury. Like, I'd feel comfortable starting. Who are they playing? You want to look up who they're playing this week?
Well, I'm just saying these are more for rapid fire. Now we're talking. Hold on.
Oh, yeah, there we go.
Hold on. You're just talking about flow here.
There you go.
Since T. Higgins returned from form on the horizon.
Absolutely. Not giving up yet.
That whole team needs to come back. I mean, it wasn't just him.
Yeah.
He said, sorry for the bombinologist questions, but this week was great. Yeah, I agree. I said somewhere in the show, like a lot of guys injured, a lot of weird stuff first week, I think. And there was a lot of
it's just fantasy
regular
football
stuff that was that should have happened in this the right teams winning and things like that happening and whatnot. So yeah, but
you don't have to get ready if you stay ready and expect the unexpected, because that's what fantasy football is, man. So just sit back and enjoy it. We all know it's going to be outrageous.
More here. Yeah, no, go ahead.
That was fun. That was good stuff. So we got Jessel asking, he said, what's up, fellas? But he said, would you guys be dropping Antonio Gibson for, say, Puka Nacua or Kyron Williams or Gus Edwards? I'd like to hang on to Gibson, maybe for Puka if you're hurting at wide receiver with all the injuries right now. And, I'm sure Gibson's like your RB4. If he's your RB3, I don't think Williams or Gus Edwards is worth that quite yet. Again, even with the Kyron Williams 2 touchdowns and the 16 carries, I think it was, like, Cam Akers still got 22 carries. He just only got 26 yards on those 22 carries. Like, that was the problem.
But if that continues, Kyron Williams will take
over. He will kind of take over. But we've talked about this before with Darrell Henderson and every other running back they've had there. They still end up going back to Cam Akers. So it doesn't change. Yeah, there's something going on there.
But out of the 3 guys that you mentioned, Puka Nacua or Kyron Williams, I would not consider Gus Edwards. Shouldn't be in the conversation of these 2 guys.
Yeah, not even close. Nacua or Kyron for sure over Gus if you wanted to. If you're not a Gibby fan, or just a fan of that offense, you got to have guys you want to root for. So if you want to root for one of those guys instead, then go grab your guy. But for me, I'm good.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Dylan. We do like fun questions. It's a lot better than rate my team and all that.
Yeah, no, that's fun. And use your word, whatnot. See, starting to talk like you now too.
He said most takers came in the second half when they were up, though.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It wasn't like his non-production early on is what led to Kyron Williams coming in. Like, Kyron Williams was like worked in like in a 50-50 split, and then when the game was like over, they almost use Akers like, or I guess so. Maybe they're using him like the drain out the clock, type guy. Like, what's his name should have been.
This is an interesting question. I'm in an shallow 8-man team. Here is Brees startable versus Dallas. He's my RB3.
No. You don't want to start anybody against Dallas right now, or the Niners. Yeah. Keep your running backs at home.
Yeah, exactly. That's these teams.
Especially if you have 2 better. Yeah, especially if you have 2 better options. Yeah, and they were kind of they were kind of just juiced up on that win. Rodgers going down. Like, this dust might settle in. Next week, and you got Dallas coming into town. Yeah, that's going to be tough.
No, they're going to Dallas. They're going to Dallas. So Dallas will be at home for the home opener.
Yeah, even more. Oh, yeah. No.
Yeah, sit up. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Yeah, Wilson's going to, like, his eyes are going to be so big playing in Dallas, man.
Like, honestly, if anybody that Dallas is weak on, it's, the running backs. That guy might actually break some off, whatnot. But he's going to be, the quarterback's going to run it for his life. Guaranteed. He's not going to have much time to do anything with that ball.
Except for handoff. It's the best part. All right, so there we go. We're caught up in the chat, man. Keep them coming, man. You guys got questions. We'll try to get through this here. We're almost done. Next game is Eagles. Yeah, Eagles 25, Patriots 20. One of the top waiver ads is coming from this game. You have Kenny Gainwell. He technically even popped up on the injury report dealing with some rib issues. Officially got a DNP for the Monday practice report, but it's not really real because they do play on a short week this week. Most guys don't really practice on a Monday. They just project if they were to practice. If they would have been practicing, he would have got a DMP. So he's 84% owned on Sleeper, 47% on Yahoo, played 62% of the snaps, received 14 carries, 54 yards, 4 catches, four targets for 20 receiving yards. Penny is a healthy scratch. Big news, which we kind of suspected, and that's why Penny, plummeted from my rankings for the drafts. There was even words he might not even make the team, and pretty much kind of didn't. Didn't get to suit up here after getting the signing in the offseason. And the more shocking news was Swift barely getting used at all. Played only 29% of the snaps, only had 1 carry for 3 rushing yards. Only got targeted twice and had 1 catch for 0 yards. So Kenny Gainwell, definitely someone you should own right now. Do you agree or disagree, and or what do you have?
Oh yeah,
Gainwell
he's my
on
number
your
one
list?
waiver wire ad period this week. I need to go out and get somebody. Go get some Kenny Gainwell on a Philly offense, high power offense.
Best line.
Exactly. We now know who to go for. So there's no again, like I said, number one waiver ad.
Gainwell's the new Sanders. Gainwell's the new Sanders.
Yeah, for sure.
There you go.
Definitely.
3rd year in the system, so very nice. All right. So anybody else from this game?
Out of that game, Hunter Henry. I think we mentioned earlier, right? I think we mentioned on tight ends area 5 for 6, 56 yards, 1 TD, 58% on Sleeper, 69 on Yahoo, 79% of snap shares, and they get the Dolphins next, who's just giving up
shootouts.
Yeah, they're just ready to let's see who can score more, which is excellent for somebody out there, especially tight end. So let's see what that happens.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Gainwell all day. Get some of that.
Yeah. Another name that was out here with the injuries to Devontae Parker and Thornton being out, and Juju maybe not be all the way healthy. Talking about his knee could explode at any time. So maybe some kind of snap shares going or snap count going on with him. But Bourne, Kendrick Bourne, 6 receptions, 11 targets. Leading the team, 64 yards, did score the 2 touchdowns. Again, they get the Dolphins next week as well. If Parker and Thornton are out and Juju still maybe on a pitch count, I'm not too interested in maybe going out and grabbing him, but might be worth, again, if you're in a pinch, maybe you can grab him and throw him in. Probably don't have to spend too much on fab as well. And maybe it's kind of like one of those, free bingo spots for your lineup next week. What do you think?
I think he'd be a daily guy. Throw him up on a daily.
Throw him in a daily.
Right? Yeah.
There you go. Not bad. All right, so we'll move on. Yeah, we'll move on. We'll keep it moving. Last game of Sunday, Rams 30, Seahawks 13. Tycoon called this one last week as well, saying, the Rams always play the Seahawks tough. They own them no matter what situation they're in. Matt Stafford looked pretty good here. You had Tyler Lockett going down. He was able to leave on his own power. He did leave the game to be evaluated for a potential concussion, but later returned. Didn't really produce. Think only had like 1 catch, 6 yards, something like that. But the big player out of this game, and a guy that's been mentioned here in the chat, probably number 1, number 2, probably number 1 wide receiver, 1 or 2 as far as overall waiver wire ad this week. The name you're hearing a lot, Mr. Puka Nacua. He did leave the game briefly though.
We'll call him a code number 1.
Right, the code number 1 waiver wire ad this week. So he did get hit in the ribs, left briefly, but he returned. If you guys remember that on that late drive, everyone was kind of worried. We're like, no, not when he's showing all this promise. Then he ends up leaving, but he came back, toughed it out. He basically looked like the new Cooper Kupp. It was basically a Cooper Kupp stat line. 10 catches on 15 targets for 119 yards. Again, that just sounds like Cooper Kupp. If you were to take the name off the jersey and just show me that stat line, the only thing missing is the touchdowns, but because of the overall offense, not being as great, not having the total talent there, especially across that line, even though they did, show pretty well, and give them a little time to throw. They're just going to be lacking in touchdowns, but in a PPR league, Nacua is someone, I'd be willing to spend, probably 20 20, maybe even 30% of your budget on. If you're really,
20 to 25, you went all the way to 30.
I mean, if you're really hurting for wide receiver, like let's say you had like 2 guys go down, or maybe someone that you're worried about, like a Christian Kirk and Cooper Kupp, if those were like your wide receiver 1 and 3, and you're sitting there with like just a mid wide receiver 2, or like just Ridley or something, you might have to spend 30% of your budget to get Puka in there and call up some guys you have off your bench. So, the only problem is, of course, is Cooper Kupp's coming back, but what I see is, I was looking up kind of the snap shares. He played a lot of his time in the slot, which of course is where Cooper Kupp, does do his damage, but Kupp can play on the outside, and they put him in motion a lot. So, and of all people, I think McVay can, if he shows this type of chemistry with Stafford, could figure out a way to have Kupp and Nakua coexist in this offense. Tutu Atwell showed pretty well as well too. He's their deep threat, the field stretcher. They connected on a couple plays, and I think they even missed one bigger one, like a 40-something yard touchdown. He could have had an even bigger day, but he goes 8 targets, 6 catches for 119 yards. Jefferson was, he played the most snaps, 93% of the snaps, but he only had 5 targets, 4 catches for only 24 yards. Nakua and Atwell completely outplayed him. And of course, Higbee was targeted as well. So again, Rams put up 30 points when we expected this offense and defense to kind of be nothing. They showed up pretty well. It wasn't like they stopped no one over there. We've talked about the weapons that the Seahawks have, from Geno to Metcalf to JSN to Lockett to Ken Walker and Zach Charbonnet. Like, it's not like they didn't stop anybody over there. So interesting game. Again, this was one of the games in the afternoon that I had on dedicated TV to. So I watched almost every snap of this game. So those are definitely guys that I'd be investing in this week and out of this one.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with those. I have both of these guys on my list as well. And I think just sides of life, and things are looking pretty good. Over there in Rams territory, LA, it looks like good when we have Cooper Kupp come back. It looks like, like Stafford's doing good over there. Another guy that we got out of there, Kyron Williams, 15 for 55, 2 touchdowns. We talked about him and Cam Akers earlier. And, obviously, the timeshare that they're in, or you just, good. Just the Rams just look good. I mean, again, like you said, didn't beat a soft team there. Seahawks is not a soft team to put down. The Rams defense stepped up a lot. Mostly the offensive line gave enough time to Stafford to make the passes. Happy to see that I think he's going to look good when Kupp comes back, and I'm really happy to see that. Hopefully Kupp's injury is not bad, and he's
if I can go out and buy Kupp, which we'll talk about on Wednesday, like I'm going to, like, this made me want to go buy Kupp, like on how good Stafford actually looked. Like, if you can go buy Kupp right now, if you have somebody freaking out on Kupp right now and you can get him for like nothing, like for example, you got Jessel asking, can I trade Kirk and Lockett for Keenan Allen? Try to go get Kupp for Kirk and Lockett if you can right now. Like that's the type of trade I'd be trying to do. Again, as long as if you drafted wide receiver heavy and you could absorb that 2 for 1 and not, have a starting guy right away, then that's, those are kind of trades I'm looking for. But again, we'll get into more of that on Wednesday. So let's try to finish it out here. Got only 2 more games to talk about. Cowboys 40, Giants 0. Not really much to talk about in this one, but I will give you your spotlight on this one. Go ahead, take it away. Cowboys 40, Giants 0.
What to say? The defense is king here in this game. Honestly, the offense did not have to do much. CD did have a good catch there and whatnot. Tony Pollard looked excellent, but even it was all defense just running the show on this one. It was just too much of a blowout. You even have a notice here for Jake Ferguson there, 7 targets, including red zone usage, with only 2 receptions for 11 yards, unfortunately. But I think Ferguson will have better games in the future. I think
better game script.
I think it was such a blow. It's too much stuff going on the defense side that the offense really didn't even get a chance to warm up and get going. They didn't really have to. So like. Better things to come. I mean, what are you going to say when it's just a 40 to 0? Moving on. It's okay. You know what I mean? Like, we got the win.
Move on to week 2, right?
There's really not. You got everybody who's on there. We want to see more from Brandon Cooks. We didn't even get a back Gallup catch or anything. I think he got 1 catch or something. Just again the game script, right? What were they gonna do?
Yeah, Gallup had 2 targets, 1 catch for 10 yards, but I mean, yeah, no. Jake Ferguson led the team with 7 targets. I mean, CD only had 4 for 77. So like when they threw it to him, he ate. But like you said, he didn't really need to do much. The Giants were kind of just beating themselves all night long. So yeah, so we'll get into not much else with that one. Like you said, I mentioned Jake Ferguson. If you're just trying to find someone to start any given week, there you go. That's funny. Jessel said he already has Cup, so he's it's like he can't go trade the Cup owner for those 2 guys because he is the Cup owner. So he's saying that's why he's trying to upgrade at wide receiver. So he was asking, just going back to his actual question, would you trade Kirk and Lockett for Keenan Allen? If you're down Cup already, I don't know if I'd 2 for 1 that. I just think,
but he's not going to get Keenan Allen for less.
Yeah, I just think I think they had kind of bad games. I'm not out on Kirk or Lockett yet. We know what they're both capable of. Again, there's some times where you could say, it was only 1 week, and then other times it was like, yeah, this 1 week made a big difference. You kind of play that into your favor, however you want to use that phrasing or saying. But to me, when it comes to Kirk and Lockett, 1 game's not going to scare me off to just upgrade to Keenan Allen. Now, if you could take Kirk and Lockett and turn that into like Jamar Chase, who had a down game, maybe, but like Kirk and Lockett didn't really go off for you to be able to get that kind of 2 for 1 upgrade. You're kind of trading 2 guys who didn't go off for 1 guy who didn't go off. But I'd be trying to, go that route if you can. Maybe add somebody else to that and upgrade and try to get Chase, like Kirk and somebody else. I'd hold on to Lockett. I think Lockett's fine. So who else you got there?
Dylan says, is Romeo Dobbs every week flex play now? Yes, easily.
Yeah, I think so. When Watson comes back, yeah, he should still be fine until further notice for a flex. So, yeah. Yeah, Kirk Cousins is terrifying. He basically didn't play any. We were talking about it, when we recapped that game. Wasn't playing in the 2 wide sets. Was limited strictly to 3 wide sets. We'll see if that changes in the future, or if it's a different game script. Maybe they have to run 3 wide a little more. That's what I'm assuming. So
did you pass up his other little statement? This is terrible.
What?
Poor guy.
He's the idiot that drafted Cup, Andrews, Watson, JK. Oh man,
It was smart enough not to start likely.
Okay, there you go. No, he said I was smart enough to start to start likely. So yeah, that was a brutal week 1. Yeah. Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah.
So yeah, is that who they're playing next week? Oh yeah, it is Jags KC. So yeah, now if Kirk doesn't go off against the Kansas City and it's like a 30 something game, that's when I would worry. Might be too late to trade him, but then that's what I'm trying to find the next Puka Nacua.
That's when you're worried. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to find, something like that. So yeah, so he said, Dylan's asking, would love you to give you guys team a look. Let me try that again. Would love for you guys to give my team a look. He posted it above. Drop it in the sleeper channel, man. It's easier to get to that type of stuff. Also, like when we're doing our roster management show on Wednesday, that's the time to drop something like that. So if you want it outside of the show, just drop it in the sleeper, which you can find. Dylan, you're already part of the sleeper channel. I know that, but for everybody else watching, go in the description. It's right on the top. You can join right there. You can just post screenshots of your team. We'll go through, we'll rate it. Trade questions, whatever it is. Myself and other folks here in the Get Right community will help walk you through it. So make sure you guys go check it out. It's totally free. So check it out there. All right, so let's get to this last game and get the heck out of here. We got Bills at Jets. Yeah, Bills at Jets tonight. I didn't even have this game prepped because it was kind of going on as we were getting set up here. But we had the Jets 22, Buffalo 16. We started with the upset. Lions over Chiefs, ends with the upset. Jets over Buffalo. It's not the reason why it's more so an upset is because Rodgers wasn't at the helm. Looks like I thought it kind of right away. Looked like it was an Achilles. Just based on how he kind of sat down, it was eerie similar to Kevin Durant when he tore his in the finals a few years back. I'm obviously just overflexed that Achilles. Hopefully it's not. Maybe it's just a pull or something like that. Hopefully, again, it's not a tear because that could potentially be career ending at his age. But so we're all waiting to see and hear what this MRI was. But the game itself was pretty amazing. You have Buffalo doing everything they can to keep the Jets in this game. You have Josh Allen throwing 3 picks in his debut.
The
Of
Jets
course,
did their part specifically.
Yeah.
Was it that got all 3 picks? Jordan Whitehead.
Yeah. So I think they said like he hadn't had 3 picks in a whole season and ends up with 3 3 in one game against Josh Allen of all people. So yeah, man. So interesting game, and then of course it
Garrett
ends on a punt return.
Good, you know what I mean?
Yeah, Garrett Wilson catch
all
was
look
amazing. Brees looked good in his return. Looked a lot better than Javonte, and apparently Javonte was ahead of him. Again, look good. One game. Hey, I might have to eat crow on that one, but like I said, I was okay to be wrong on this one. I'll draft the heck out of him, next year, and I'll draft the heck out of him and I was trading for him in Dynasty where I could this offseason, just for this year. I just think, again, we're seeing all the injuries happen to guys that are completely healthy, let alone somebody coming back that could get compensation injuries. So we'll see how it goes. Don't wish injury on anyone, but again, it's all numbers sometimes, and those numbers are in his favor. And that's not the favor I want to be in. I have enough injury luck on my own without taking on that extra risk. So anyone in this game that is it even a real kind of game situation? Obviously, if Wilson is the quarterback long term, which Saleh came out and said after the game that looks like what it's going to be. Are you freaking out about Josh Allen here? What are your takes?
I'm still comfortable with Garrett Wilson. I'm still comfortable with Brees Hall. I'm still comfortable with the team. Is it a downgrade? Of course. I mean, we don't want, but I think that this guy could step up. Hopefully, Wilson does.
One more year.
It did. End up 14 to 21, 140 yards. Got a touchdown. Did get an INT. You know what I mean? The defense will keep him in the game. So they're doing a phenomenal job. So, let's hope for the best, right?
All he has to do is just be Brock Purdy, right? Just run the offense. Like, you don't have to do too much. Run the offense.
And they'll figure something out for him now that they already know. You know what I mean? Come on. To me, the video and everything else, I'm not a doctor. It didn't look that bad, Rodgers. Like, you know what I mean? I didn't think he stretched it all too bad. It didn't look like he got crushed on it or anything that bad. So hopefully he just comes back and it's a non-issue. But I mean, he is older, and I think he's going to take it easy.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. So yeah, so no one's kind of moving too far up or down. It was interesting seeing the work with Hardy out of the backfield instead of James Cook getting that receiving work. I think they had like 3 design plays with Hardy out of the backfield, just throwing it right to him on kind of like a swing or like a quick hitter.
Yeah,
out of the backfield.
9 yards, 3-yard average.
Is that what it was? Okay. Yeah, but I'm just like, why isn't that going to Cook? It's just kind of strange for me for them to just.
Got a couple. He got a couple passes. He had a really nice.
I just meant like who is this Hardy guy? Like, I mean,
I get you. I mean, you got to spell him.
He's supposed to be like their gadget. Like he's supposed to be their gadget guy. I don't know. I just, it's just kind of weird. But we'll see. Maybe he is that kind of guy.
It was a bad game for them, anyways. They couldn't, Allen was just trying to toss it around, just trying to play catch up after a while. It seemed like he was just like, behind or whatever. You know what I mean? Like they were just kind of. I'm not looking into it. Again, like you're saying, game script, the stuff got out of hand. They had to do different stuff just to keep up. So, yeah, that's
exactly.
Why you know what I mean? That's why I like it.
It's what it is. All right. Well, that's it, man. We've been here long enough. Let's get out of here. That was a lot of fun, man. Love Overreacting. Week 1 is in the books. We're officially turning the page, so make sure you guys get those waiver wires set for your waiver runs. We'll be back here on Wednesday for that buy, sell, trade target show. So that's going to be a lot of fun. One of my favorite shows. What do you say? Rusty, I'll hit you up.
Can I hit you with my team when you're all done?
Yeah, man. You know how to get hold of me. You got my DMs. Throw it in there. So yeah, man. So we'll get in here again on Wednesday. Like I said, Classic and I will be back on Friday for our start sit, taking your live Q&As as well. You can reach us anytime in the Get Right Fantasy Sleeper Network. Go into the description, check the link there. You can get added to the community, post your teams, ask your questions.
Myself, Frank, other folks will be in there, part of the Get Right Degenerates here, and we will help you out with your teams and give you that feedback, or just be there to celebrate with you, man. We're all there together, or help you get through it if you're on the edge. If you're sitting on the ledge and need to be talked off it, we'll be there for you as well too, man, because we all been there. So yeah, we'll help you get off and realize it's okay, man. We'll just go into next week and we'll help you get your lineups right, man. So check it out. So for Dustin, for myself, man, for you, Frank, for Classic Mike, we'll see you guys here on Wednesday. You got anything else, Frank, before we get out of here? And I'm not gonna, unfortunately, I can't do the trophy smacker. It's already too late.
No, we're not gonna do it. I just want to, really quickly run over the highlight, guys that we were looking at is Kenneth Gainwell and Puka Nacua as the number one waiver wire ads for the week. I'm staying away. I think Anthony's also staying away. Anything that has to do with Justin Hill, Gus Edwards, and Melvin Gordon. Yeah, and basically, I just want to, that's the highlights of the show, really.
Yeah, some honorable mentions.
I didn't mention Jordan Love had a good game. QB pickup. Bryce Young, another one that's a QB pickup. Should have mentioned that.
You didn't even mention Mac Jones, QB2 overall right now. Mac Jones.
He's already owned a lot. He's not owned.
He's QB2. He's not owned in one QB leagues, I guarantee it. But either way, man. So that's it for you guys today.
Rice. Get some Rashi Rice.
Oh yeah. See, we talked about him a lot on Friday, but that's okay. He weren't here. Yeah. So you got to get your Rashi Rice love in there. That's my guy. So I'll always talk about Rashi Rice. All right, man. So we'll get out of here, man. Again, from all of us over here at Get Right. Hopefully you guys had a good week 1. Even if you didn't, man, we'll help you get back, snap back into it here for week 2. Make sure you come check us out. And again, hit that subscribe button for us. If you're already subscribed, make sure you hit that like button. It helps us out just as much. We'll see you guys on Wednesday, man. Take care and peace out.
Peace out.
Strategies provided, I will lock in every way. So go and roll your sleeves.